Yo, what up, my beautiful dowdies? How's everyone doing today? I'm your host, Fao, and let's talk about Acheron. It is going to be exactly 1 day and 2 hours from recording this video, so tomorrow Acheron's probably going to be there, depending on what time zone you are, of course. And if you're still wondering on if you should pull for Acheron or not, then you clicked on the correct video. This video, we're going to talk about what Acheron's strengths and weaknesses are, what her pull value is right now in, the current state of Honkai Star Rail, what her best team setups are, pros and cons, and just if you should pull for her or not. I, of course, made a previous video about how she might be the most future-proof character in the game. That was a different video. We talked about her as well, but in a different way. This video is really going to be about her pull value and just if you should pull for her or not, just the classic before you pull. So let's get straight into the video. Should you pull or skip for Acheron in Honkai Star Rail? The first thing we're instantly going to talk about is her pull value right now. The controversy that she dropped from the Apex tier down, that she's not as great as before, is a bit of a big statement in my opinion. I think that Acheron is the best DPS that we have in the game right now, but she's not able to show this. You guys have heard it many times if you watch my previous videos. For the people that don't know, Fei Xiao is the best DPS in the game right now, and she is able to show her damage because of the team setup that she has. She has Topaz, Robin, Aventurine, right? That team setup is so Thanos with all the Infinity Stones right now that the rest doesn't matter, right? It just, you cannot reach that level of strength right now. Acheron is in that boat. Acheron has a really strong kit. The way she functions, her specialty, right, with nihility and everything, very, very strong, but she's unable to show it because she doesn't have the same components as Fei Xiao. It is what it is. However, Acheron is a very, very strong character that is very well balanced. So, to the next step. The moment we're getting more characters in the future, right, she's probably going to be very strong and she can compete again for being the top dog. But right now, she's just top 3 DPS. Think of it like that. No, she's not the strongest, but that doesn't mean she's very useless, You're all content with her. She's very good in MOC. She's very good in Pure Fiction, and she's very good in Apocalyptic Shadow. That's also a bonus. Fei Xiao has more consistent damage, but she's of course not as good as in Pure Fiction because of her single target stuff. So that's something to consider as well. Now, also a big thing is that Acheron needs specific teammates. If you are settling for one copy, so Acheron, E0, S0, right? Nothing else, no more. You are in a need of more nihility characters. So Acheron takes a little bit more investment as well because you pick up Acheron, you also need 2 nihility characters, or else you're not going to get the full max value. That might be a little bit hard because her best support was just there. JQ, Foxboy. Jiaoshu is probably going to get a rerun soon, in a few months, weeks. He's probably going to be there again. So if you're going to pick up Acheron now, you should have enough pools to try to pick up JQ as well, That is the bread and butter of this game right now. Him and Acheron are going to be a very good pairing, Batman, Robin. If you go for Acheron, make sure you pick up that character as well. So keep that in the back of your mind. Pela is going to be on the banner. So that is very good for people that are going to summon for Acheron. You just need 1 copy of Pela and you're good. Of course, the more the merrier, always welcome more Eidolons. But 1 copy is enough. You get a defense shred on every single enemy and an Acheron could just ult them for more damage, right? It makes sense. And of course, you get that second nihility character slot activated. Before we go into crazy detail, let's go over what she does. Basic attack, very simple. Deals lightning damage equal to 50% of Acheron's attack to a single target enemy. Basic stuff, lightning damage, single target. Skill. Gains 1 point of Slash Dream. Inflicts 1 stacks of Crimson Nut on a single target enemy. Dealing lightning damage equal to 80% of Acheron's attack to this target. As well as lightning damage equal to 30% of Acheron's attack to adjacent targets. So, what is Slash Dream? That's her talent, right? Her passive. When Slash Dream reaches 9 points, the ultimate can be activated. So instead of the traditional energy, Acheron wants to put stacks of Slash Dream on the enemies. When you reach 9 stacks, then your ultimate will unlock. And this is also going to be one of her unique ways of playing. You want to have a lot of debuffs, because Slash Dreams are just debuffs on the enemy. So if you can have different types of debuffs on the enemy, Acheron will get her ult faster. So you want to have nihility characters. Luckily for you, nihility is a debuffing class. You just want to have as much debuffs and as many battery, debuffs you can have, so Acheron can have a good ult uptime. During the ultimate, reduces the enemy's toughness regardless of the weakness type. Very nice. And reduces all enemies all type resistance by 10%, lasting until the end of the ultimate. When any unit inflicts debuffs on the enemy target while using their ability, Acheron gains 1 point of slash dream. That's what we just said, right? You have to apply debuffs from your teammates and inflicts 1 stack of Crimson Knot on the target. If debuffs are inflicted on multiple targets, then the 1 stack of Crimson Knot will be inflicted on the enemy target with the most Crimson Knot stacks. I just moved my camera. This effect can only trigger once for every ability use. After an enemy target exits the field or gets defeated by any unit while Acheron is on the field, their Crimson Knot stacks will then be transferred to the enemy target with the most Crimson Knot stacks on the whole field. So, you know, it transfers to the next one, the next best thing. Then, of course, the ultimate itself unleashes Rainblade 3 times and Stygian Resurge 1 time. A lot of difficult words. Dealing lightning damage up to 223%, depending on how you level, of Acheron's attack to a single target enemy, as well as lightning damage up to 180 of Acheron's attack to the other targets. Rainblade deals lightning damage equal to 14% of Acheron's attack to a single target enemy and removes up to 3 stacks of Crimson Knot from the target. When Crimson Knot is removed, immediately deals lightning damage equal to 9% of Acheron's attack to all enemies. For every single stack of Crimson Knot removed, this damage multipliers additionally increase up to a maximum of 36%. Stygian Resurge deals lightning damage equal to 72% of Acheron's attack to all enemies and remove all Crimson Knot. Crimson Knot cannot be applied to enemies during this ultimate. So, in normal English, right, you just get 3 slashes, and the more Crimson Knot stacks you have, the bigger the damage will be. That's how you just have to think, and you just have a very big nuke that is deployed into 3 attacks. Very fun, you know, you can click spacebar to go to the next slash. Very fun little interactive thing you did. Then the technique immediately attacks the enemy. At the start of each wave, gain Quadrivalent Ascendance, dealing a lightning damage equal to 200% of Acheron's attack to all enemies and reducing toughness of all enemies, irrespective of weakness types. When breaking weakness, triggers the lightning weakness break effect. Quadrivalent Ascendance, after using the ultimate, Acheron gains 1 point of slash dream and inflicts 1 stack of Crimson Knot on a single random enemy. If attacking a normal enemy, immediately defeats them without entering combat. When not hitting enemies, no technique points are consumed. So when you use this, it's more of like a battery. You get your ult easier, right? You get more stacks, fluidity, and of course in the open world when you have those smaller enemies, you could instantly kill them and you're literally just god mode, right? If you're farming or whatever, you just slash through them all and you don't have to enter battle on lesser enemies. Very cool. Now, the big white traces are when the ultimate's Rainblade hits enemy targets that have Crimson Knot, the damage dealt by Acheron increases by 30%, stacking up to 3 times and lasting for 3 turns. And when Stygian Resurge triggers, additionally deals damage for 6 times. Each time deals lightning damage, 25% of Acheron's attack to a single random enemy and considered as ultimate damage. So, very nice. Acheron is a very big fanatic of ultimate damage. That's why JQ is also going to be very good. You're going to deal more ultimate damage, of course. So, all of this is just more damage and more ultimate damage. Very cool. Then we have, at the battle starts, immediately gains 5 points of slash dream and apply 5 stacks of Crimson Knot to a random enemy. When slash dream reaches its upper limit, for each point of slash dream that exceeds the limit, gain 1 stack of Quadrivalent Ascendance. Enables Quadrivalent Ascendance to stack up to 3 times. Again, just helps you, more fluidity to the game. Very nice. When there are 1 or 2 nihility characters other than Acheron on the team, the damage dealt by Acheron's basic attack, skill, and ultimate is increased by 115 or 160 of the original damage, respectively. So, this is the big thing, right? This is really why you want to have 2 other nihilities, and this is very special for a specific character. Now that you guys know what Acheron does, her skills, talents, how her gameplay is, let's go further into the nihility tree, right? The 2 nihility characters. The reason why this is so important is because, of course, you guys saw how much of a damage boost you get, but Acheron is not a traditional team composition in a way, because let's say you pulled Robin, let's say you pulled Ron May, let's say whatever, right? You pulled Harmony characters, and all the other units in the game can utilize those Harmony characters for better and faster gameplay, being stronger, It's all about the Harmony characters. Honkai Star Rail loves supportive units, right? If you have a DPS, let's take Dr. Ratio for an example. Dr. Ratio was the top dog, right? And then he had insane supportive units that brought him up. Now, there's a better follow-up attack synergist with Hunt damage, right? Hunt Path. Fei Xiao is there now. So Dr. Ratio literally just got replaced, yoinked away, and then Fei Xiao got put in that place, and now Fei Xiao is the top dog because of all those supportive units. Acheron functions differently. You all of a sudden have to abandon the law of that playstyle, you know, of getting those supportive units. Now you have to go nihility specific. So that's why Acheron is a bit in an awkward position, and that's why she probably fell off as well as a top dog DPS Apex character, because the formula doesn't work right now. The formula right now is one good nihility character that is a limited 5-star character. Now, Aventurine is also going to be a character that is going to be paired with Acheron right now. It's not Acheron's best in slots permanently, right? Aventurine is just the best thing that Acheron has right now. Over 80% of you guys are not subscribed watching my videos. How about we change that? Subscribe. Thank you. Aventurine is super strong. Aventurine just works with Acheron. But if sustaining would expand into more regions, you know, and more options, Aventurine is probably not going to be the end result for Acheron's team composition, right? We're probably going to have something very special. So that's why in the other video for Acheron's the most free-to-play character, right? Future-proof, is because Acheron is so different than the rest, and the moment she just gets more components for her playstyle, she's going to be very strong again. So my tip for you guys right now, if you are a new player, you're looking to pick up new DPSs, or you're trying to figure out what you want, right? This is why you clicked on this video. Should I pull for Acheron or not? Keep in mind, Acheron needs nihility characters. If you are going to go for a E0S0 Acheron or E0S1, then you should have 2 other nihility characters and a good sustainer. Probably you can get away with a Gallagher, to be fair. You know, Gallagher's fine. Or if you really want to go maximize, you can pick up the Aventurine, which is also going to be a rerun with her. Then you need 2 nihility characters that are probably going to be the Pela that you're going to get from the banner. There's also Sampo on the banner. You could, in the beginning, use that as well as a option. However, there's a lot of nihility characters out there that can be very good. Go to the nihility characters. If you have a Welt laying around, could be very good. Black Swan could be a very good supportive unit, you know, because she's the defense threat as well. Knifing can be very good for vulnerability threat. If you have a Silver Wolf laying around still, that could be very good. Now, there's a really fun composition where you go Acheron, Black Swan, and Kafka, and then you go around with DOT, you know, and then you just have a lot of consistent damage, and you just try to play it a little bit more differently. Maybe you're not gonna nuke them as much as, let's say, JQ, Acheron, and Pela. But with the DOT proccing, you just still have like a very consistent way of dealing damage. Very fun, you know. These are a lot of characters that could work. I would stay away from these 3 mostly. Especially Kafka and Luca. Those 2 are a little bit awkward because they're so different, right? Kafka has too much DOT, and Kafka's really with break stuff. I would go for something, you get a Pela 100% at those, at that with Acheron, and whatever extra nihility character you are being put with, you know, do that as well. And then you're going to have a pretty solid composition, and Acheron is probably going to be a little bit more investment as well. You know, you need crit rate and crit damage on her, so make sure you're going to get a good ratio there. And it's very, for a newer player, be careful if you're going to pull for Acheron, because she does take a bit of extra work to get online because of all these little quirky things that she has, right? But if you do reach that point of comfort and you have everything sorted out, she's still going to do a lot of damage. And of course, when JQ comes out, or newer nihility characters that can bring her up, make sure to pick up those. Those are going to be very beneficial. Yet again, be careful, because in the beginning it might seem a little bit awkward because she's not dealing as much damage as you want her to. Yeah, because of all those little things that you have to work with. Now, Acheron also has a very interesting Eidolon, which is going to be her E2. The number of nihility characters required for the Trace of the Abyss to achieve its highest possible effect is reduced by 1. So what does this mean? Normally you need 2 to get the full potential. Right now you only need 1. So this opens up a lot of doors for 1 nihility plus harmony. And now Acheron is in that god mode as well, what Fei Xiao has, right? An E2 Acheron is completely different than a E0 Acheron. It's the same thing as a lot of characters have in this game. E2 Acheron is something you could go for. I'm not saying I recommend it. If you absolutely love this character, right, and you absolutely adore this character, and you want the best out of this character, sure, you do your decisions, right? If you think this is going to get you fun in the game and gives you more possibility for team building, because it would, right, then get this. But an E0 Acheron is also still good. Just know that, you know, this Eidolon completely changes up the game and gives you way more room to play with team compositions. You also get more slash dream and inflicts 1 extra Crimson Nut stack, you know, like blah blah blah, just more consistent stuff. It's just very incredibly strong to have. Of course, your E1 is when dealing damage to debuffed enemies, increased crit rate, just helps you get that better crit ratio. Very nice. So if you are like really fully vertical invest in Acheron, that's something you can consider. And then you can just, for now, if you're a newer player, you know, is up to you. But E2 Acheron plus Pela and then an Harmony character that you have laying around, which is probably going to do a lot of damage with that. For newer players, I recommend, if you do like Acheron, I think this is still a very good choice. Not very strong GPS still. You could just get one copy and wait for the JQ rerun and then try to get puzzle pieces like that. You know, just go for the slow game, wait and see what happens, and during that time Acheron should clear a bunch of stuff for you because she's very strong. Acheron was never meant to be played in a way we play like other hyper carries, because in a way Acheron is a hyper carry, but she does it on her own terms, and that's why Acheron is kind of like a different playstyle. I always call it the debuff playstyle because that's what it is. It's not your signature crit rate, crit damage. Harmony supports, right? Hyper carry. No, she is crit rate, crit damage debuffing. So she's gonna be played differently. If you want the most fun and the best account value, respect the way that she's supposed to be played with 2 nihility characters, and don't try to force your way around things that doesn't work, right? Just go with the plan. This is how she was supposed to be played. Just respect that and you're going to have a good time. Now, veteran players, if you already have 2 teams or you have a bunch of stuff that work, unless you really like Acheron, or veteran players, also people that are starting to pick up the pace of Honkai Star, right? You've been playing for a few months, or you started playing right after Acheron first came out, you know. People that really are looking forward for the Acheron rerun, and you already have a little bit of a flow, you could wait and you could skip, in my opinion. We can see how strong Honkai Star Rail is evolving, you know, with newer DPSs and a lot of ways to play the game. I don't think it's necessary to pick up Acheron, and I don't think she's necessarily a must-pull how other people might view it. Also for newer players, right? Acheron is not that must-pull anymore. I don't think she ever was, in my opinion, but there is going to be bigger fish in the sea. Let's just say it like that, right? So don't, like, all those stories of Acheron is like crazy and you should pull her, or the stories of like, oh, she's not usable anymore, she fell out from the apex tier. Both of those stories are not true. She's just a very strong and consistent character. They're just characters that do it better right now, and there are characters that do it way worse. So you have a very strong, consistent character, and with time, you know, time will tell, like in life. Acheron will probably get more pieces, probably get a little bit more boost again. She has a signature relic set, so that's very good for people that are wondering, you know. And just take a step back, right? If you are unsure on if you want to pull for Acheron or not, look at your account. Do you still need a DPS? Are you struggling with a lot of stuff, and struggling also like you are not able to clear floor 11 or 10, not only 12, you know? Like, let's take a good look if you actually need like a little bit of an account boost, and let's see if you have a lot of things that could fill the gaps for Acheron, like the extra nihility characters or whatever you need, right? Let's say you really need a sustainer and you already have 2 teams, you probably should go for the Aventurine instead. That's going to give you more account value overall, you know? So look, take a quick breath, you know, relax, it's fine. Acheron is going to be there for a lot of weeks. Do not rush. Make good decisions, you know. Don't make irrational things. Take a good few days to think about it. There's a bunch of in-depth guides about as well for like really like team setups and whatever you want to go for, right? Do your research, bunch of websites, bunch of YouTube videos before you make a rational decision. Now, the last thing, of course, for Acheron is Lightcone option. I personally think that Lightcone options are pretty good for Acheron if you do not want the signature Lightcone. Of course, the signature Lightcone is going to be the best. It increases the crit damage when the wearer hits an enemy target, inflicts Mirage Fizzle on the enemy, lasting for 1 turn. Each time the wearer attacks, this effect can only trigger 1 time on each target. The wearer deals 24% increased damage to targets afflicted with the Mirage Fizzle, and the damage dealt by the ultimate additionally increases by 24%. You know, more ultimate damage, more crit. Very cool, but you are a free-to-play player and you are going to go the free-to-play route, you know. If you have this one laying around, it could be very good. Also very good, gives you more crit rate, crit damage. Very good option. If you go the Kafka Black Swan route, you know, this can be very good as well. It's an option, not good as in like insane, you know, but it's an option. This can be very good, you know, gets ensnared and then stretch defense. And then of course we have Good Night Sleep. Well, also very good option, gives you more damage also with dot. And it is a bit of an awkward thing, of course, because the free-to-play options are not really there as in quote-unquote free-to-play, right? Because these Lightcones that I just showed you are all from the pooled banner instead of getting them in a Lightcone shop from Herda or something. Like, so Acheron is a little bit harder to build in that regard. But if you are a newer player or you are someone that did a lot of pulls already, just look at your account and see what Lightcone options you do have. If you have a really good Lightcone option, then a lot of stress is killed instantly, because then you're like, okay, I could just use this Lightcone and then, you know, use the Pela, and then everything is easier to build instant, you know? So also take that as an consideration on what you have as a Lightcone option. There's a bunch of choice here, and make sure that you have a good option for your Acheron, because that could be a little bit tricky. Conclusion, I think Acheron is a good character still. No, I don't think that she's a must pull, but no, I also don't think that she's all of a sudden unusable or a very weak unit. No, she's very strong and she can still very work. If you love this character and this is your favorite character in the entire game, doesn't matter what anyone says, go for the characters that you want. Try to have fun in this game. Do expect, you know, if you are pulling for fun and you are pulling for just what you want, expect maybe not that much clearing in all stars, you know. It is a possible way, if you do not go for the top best of the top best, that you are maybe going to struggle here and there. But Acheron is a pretty reliable unit still, so I don't even think that you're going to struggle that much. If Acheron is your favorite character, you still have a very, very strong character to work with, so you're going to be fine. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about Acheron. If people should pull for Acheron, if they should skip her. If you're going to pull for Acheron, or if you're going to skip her. Let me know if you're going to pull her Lightcone, what your team options are. Let us know what options are in general, you know, what you think other people should do. We can all help each other out here in the comments down below. I would love to hear all your takes and stories about team building Acheron stuff. You guys start all shenanigans, you know. Hopefully this video helped you out of getting that final decision on pulling or not pulling for Acheron. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Really helps out the channel. Means the world to me if you could do that. Make sure to join the Discord. We're trying to grow the community even further. And if you want to support the channel even further, then become a member. I love you all, and I'll see you everyone in the next video. Take care. Peace.